Young Lions Roar, written by Andrew Mackay, narrated by Angus Freathy. Chapter 1. We don't stand a snowman's chance in the Sahara. Sam shook his head dejectedly as he peeked through the lace curtains from his first-floor bedroom window. "How many are heading your way?" Alan asked as he stood at the window next to Sam's. "Oh, about a platoon of SS stormtroopers, and they look as mean as hell," Sam answered. "How many are heading your way?" "About a platoon of SS stormtroopers, and they also look as mean as hell," Alan echoed as he peered through the lace curtains at his window. "Same here," Alice answered from the downstairs living room. "We're outnumbered and outgunned." "So what else is new?" Sam guffawed grimly. "We're always outnumbered and outgunned, Alice." He carefully looked out of the window again. "The Huns are taking hostages. What's the current rate of exchange, Al?" 100 hostages are to be executed for every German soldier that's killed," Alan answered. "A platoon is walking up the street towards us, and they're arresting all of the men from every house. They've just dragged Mr. Cobb out of his front door." Alice's hand darted up to her mouth in concern as she gave a running commentary. "Oh, no! Mrs. Cobb's trying to stop them. Mrs. Cobb, don't do that! They'll—" Alice almost forgot herself and was on the verge of shouting a warning out of the window as a stormtrooper rifle butted Maria Cobb squarely in the face. There was a loud and sickening crack that echoed up the street as Maria collapsed like a sack of potatoes. Edward Cobb moaned in despair as his wife lay in a motionless mound on the pavement. "Get your hands off me, you Nazi swine!" he shouted, as he managed to momentarily twist free from the grip of the two stormtroopers who were holding him. He rushed over to the still form of his wife, carefully rolled her over onto her back, and started to search for a pulse. Alice watched as an SS officer walked over to Edward, pulled out his Luger pistol, cocked it, flicked off the safety catch, and shot him twice in the back of the head. The Nazi aide stepped nimbly out of the way as blood jetted from the back of Edward's neck. Edward collapsed over Maria's body. The Cobb's two small children wailed inconsolably as they tried to pull their two dead parents to their feet. Alice jammed her knuckles into her mouth, and tears sprang to her eyes as she struggled to take in the scene of complete and utter horror that she had just witnessed. Lucy and Sophie Cobb had been turned into orphans in a matter of seconds. She had babysat the two Cobb girls on several occasions and knew the Cobb family well. Alice watched open-mouthed as the SS officer pointed his pistol at the nearest crying child. Sophie screamed. Another SS officer batted the murderer's arm to the side just as he pulled the trigger. The round knocked a chunk of brick off the wall before ricocheting harmlessly into the air. "What happened, Alice?" Sam asked from upstairs. They just murdered Edward and Maria Cobb," Alice said in shocked disbelief. "They were just about to kill Sophie and Lucy." Alice's voice trailed off. "Those murdering Nazi bastards!" Sam exploded in fury. "They'll be here any minute," Alice continued as she wiped away her tears with the back of her hand. "If one of those dirty German swine sets one step inside the house, then we open fire and kill as many as we can," she said, with steel in her voice. "Killing's too good for those Nazi savages," Alan said with venom dripping. Alice cocked her Schmeisser machine gun. "For Mother and Father, Edward and Maria Cobb, and for all of the other poor souls who those murdering Nazis have killed, to hell with Ansid and keeping a low profile. Kill 'em all. Agreed?" "Agreed," the boys answered, as they cocked their machine guns in unison. "Strength and honor, Sam." "Strength and honor, Alan." "Strength and honor, Alice," the boys chorused. "You interfering old woman, Monat," the SS officer said with steam coming out of his ears. "You shouldn't have stopped me from shooting those two brats." He took out a cigarette from a silver case, tapped the end twice, and lit it in order to calm his temper that was close to boiling point. He had never been so angry in his entire life. To have been humiliated in front of his own men, publicly manhandled by a brother SS officer no less, and all over the fate of a couple of English brats. What on earth was the world coming to? "They were just children, Niebergal," Obersturm
Sample complete. Ready to continue?